Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of what if Naruto was in prison and sealed away for 18 years. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a prodigy with an unknown bloodline over an Anime King and enjoy that. And over an Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto had the deadliest bloodline, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto was locked away in prison, his sentence was 200 years. On good behavior, 100 years. As someone was there to visit him, as he had done something so terrible that he was given 200 years away in prison. The person that came to visit him was none other than Hinata. As Naruto saw her, she saw him, he was large. 6 feet 2 inches. His body was covered in seals all over. As they stepped into the waiting area where she was, as Naruto sat down, the guards instantly leaving. They did not want to be around him more than they should be. As Naruto noticed a ring on her finger, she told him that she married Itachi. As she did it because she was the only one that he loved. As she looked at Naruto and Itachi, was a way of her not being forcefully married off to any of the other people that her father or the clan might choose for her. As Shizune, who was head of the hospital at the time, had faked the report and saying that she was sterile, unable to have kids, and Sakura had kept up the ruse, as they needed his help. Sasuke Uchiha had left the village, as he could not handle the fact that his brother was now welcome back at the village, still angry about his past and has been seen with many known criminals. Orochimaru, who was revived by the Edo Tensei, is still moving around the elemental nation. She sweetened the deal by telling him about Obito Uchiha, the man that killed his parents, and is responsible for the Nine Tails being sealed inside of him. As Naruto growled angrily at that, as he accepted her little deal, as Naruto destroyed the cuffs that were holding his hands, showing that despite the seals, he was able to break free. As Naruto walked back to his cell as he got himself ready, as he spoke to Kurama, who didn't like that he was, well, accepting their offer. But they were not the ones playing him. As Naruto made his way, as the group was outside waiting on him, as he saw them, Sakura, and all of them were out there, as they filled him in on what has been happening since he has been locked away. Kiba has lost Akamaru, as Shino didn't want Naruto to be too vocal, because Kiba was never in a good state when he talked about his lost partner. So with that, the group moved towards Konoha as Naruto told Tenten to make him a blade. Naruto was wealthy. Being locked away for so long, he studied about business and buy shares. And not to mention, with Jiraiya gone, the Uchiha series, all of that belongs to him. All of the revenue from that. As Naruto was beyond wealthy. As he reached the village once again, he went straight towards Ichiraku Ramen. As Naruto was hugged by Hayam, who was happy to see him, as he ordered a lot of ramen to eat. He spent a week in the village, until he decided to make his way towards the council meeting finally. As Kakashi and the others saw him, Kakashi was the current Hokage, As Naruto listed out his demands, everything that he wants, they could not really defy these demands after all. They were the ones who wanted his help. And after he was done, he said that he wanted to go back to his prison cell. No one has listed out what exactly Naruto did, but there was something behind it seems. After that was over and he was making his way, Itachi caught up to him. As Itachi came to speak to him about Hinata, as he told him that Hinata has been sad, incredibly so. She has been feeling terrible ever since he was locked up. As the reason why he agreed to marry her was to save her from any other poachers that might try to marry her off. She usually cried herself to sleep holding on to a nine-tailed fox plushie. As Naruto understood what that mean, but he told Itachi that he could not be the person that she wanted him to be, as he was no longer that person, as he made his way off. So yeah guys, it was basically let's left off. You guys can switch across the playlist, check it out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode? Let's get straight into it guys. We start this new episode off with a flashback of the past. As Naruto looked over towards Sasuke in his stage 2 form of the curse mark, his hand was coated in a black shidori. Was this how far Sasuke would go to get revenge on someone who was already too far gone? As Naruto looked down towards his hand, the Kyuubi cloak had surrounded his entire body. A swirling vortex of crimson chakra appeared in his hand. As a Rasengan formed from the Kyuubi's chakra, Naruto looked across towards his best friend and brother. The Valley of the End fitting for the two to have their final clash, as Naruto couldn't think of a better place than where the first and Madara had their clash. Chakra surged in his legs as he bent down, nearly the same time as Sasuke leaped, as he leaped forward as well. His Rasengan was stronger, he knew it, as he watched as Sasuke was coming towards him, electricity coursing all over him. Naruto knew that this would be it. This would be the decisive moment, the end to it all. Kill! The booming voice shouted in his mind. As the Rasengan faltered as Naruto clutched his head, as more chakra pumped into the Rasengan, giving it back life as it spun faster and grew larger. As Naruto pushed himself straight towards Sasuke's form, the Rasengan was stronger, and it would not fail. Rasengan Shidori! As the two powerful jutsus collided, releasing a powerful shockwave upon impact that started to tear apart the waterfall as they clash. Kill him. Kill him. Kill the Uchiha before he takes any more from you. As a voice in his head boomed, Naruto Rasengan faltered. As it destabilized, Sasuke shoved past as the Shidori sliced into Naruto's arm. Naruto gritted his teeth as the Shidori teared into his shoulder as Naruto slammed the Rasengan into Sasuke's rib, launching him as Sasuke slammed into the leg of Madara's statue as Naruto collapsed on the ground. As Naruto coughed up some blood, as he pulled himself up by force, he pushed himself up to his feet as he felt like he was about to collapse. But he dragged himself as he felt his blood leaking from his shoulder. But the Kyuubi chakra was preventing too much blood loss, but the chakra was also leaving him. As Naruto stood over Sasuke's body, he watches Sasuke reverted back to normal, blood spill out of the side of Naruto's mouth, staining his orange jumpsuit. As Naruto bent down and placed Sasuke on his shoulder, Naruto dropped to his knees, as Sasuke's weight was too much for him in his weakened state. Naruto coughed violently as he struggled to get back to his feet, which he finally did, as he started to take slow, shaky steps, as he had Sasuke over his shoulder in a classic fireman carry, as he made it towards the statue of the first Hokage before he fell, as he cried out in pain. His nerves were shot to hell, and every single step felt like he was rolling around in hot coal. As Naruto forced himself back up, those that abandoned the mission as he grit his teeth are trash. As he kept on moving, as he made it down the trail, leading to where he had fought Kimimaro for a while. But those who abandoned their comrades, as Naruto fell dropping Sasuke, but he started to crawl towards him Those who abandon their comrades. He repeated once again. A figure landed in front of Sasuke, or less than trash, the person said, as Naruto looked up to see who had finished. And he couldn't be happier. Sensei, he said. As he tried to pull himself to his feet, Kakashi popped a soldier pill as he summoned a shadow clone. I'll take it from here, Naruto. Rest. As he watched the blonde nodded, as Naruto's face collapsed into the dirt, unconscious, his body unable to take anymore. As Kakashi bent down and picked the blonde up, while his clone took care of Sasuke, so much blood. All over Naruto, the tear in his jumpsuit. As he glanced towards Sasuke, Naruto, he said, in a remorseful voice, as both him and his copy took off, running to Konoha, despite his lack of really teaching the blonde, something that he was ashamed to admit really. The blonde has proven to be his best student. Naruto had taken Kakashi's words to heart. When they finished the bell test, and despite being on the edge, he never gave up. I'm sorry, Naruto, said Kakashi, as he kept on running with the blonde, a single tear running down his eye, as he realized that he had failed his student. As he looked up ahead, Pakon, go inform Tsunade what has happened, and that both boys are in really bad shape. Judging from the amount of blood, it was bad, really bad. Sasuke was covered in Naruto's blood, he could tell that, but he could see that few of Sasuke's ribs were broken badly, as a small pup burst off in speed, moving faster than Kakashi. Kakashi could not keep up with the pup because he was running as fast as possible, but he was also making sure that he wouldn't dazzle the two boys to cause them more pain than necessary. If they bounce around, especially Naruto, they could get in worse condition as some medics shows up. As they quickly rounded down the branch and started running with Kakashi, they start to address the situation. Sasuke's hand injuries are mostly superficial. The worst of it is chakra exhaustion, 3 broken ribs, 3 cracked ribs, and a mild concussion. The medics start to heal Sasuke, doing what he can for the ribs and the concussion. You're clear. Sasuke's hand can be transported faster now. The clone nodded as he burst away in speed, disappearing. Naruto's hand injuries are much more severe. The other medic said his left lung has collapsed and started to fill with blood. He has damage along his neck and spine, slight swelling of the brain. Both lungs has been punctured. The right one is still giving him air though, and a severe case of chakra exhaustion. The words slammed into Kakashi as the two medics worked on Naruto while they were running. As Naruto did everything possible to make sure that he did not kill Sasuke, taking deadly, damaging hits that would have killed another shinobi a long time ago, but yet he fought through it. But Sasuke did everything in his power to try and kill Naruto, even using his Shidori. Damn it, one of the medics said, as it drew Kakashi's attention. There is residual lightning chakra sparking within his body, causing his heart to flutter. We're losing him. The other medic, the older one, pulled out a needle as he used his mouth to pull off the cap, as he slammed it right into Naruto's heart, as he pumped the jugs inside of him. It's adrenaline. I'm medically ordering you to get the patient to Tsunade-sama. He needs medical attention that we cannot give him out here. The medic pulled out a bottle of pills as he reached up and pulled down Kakashi's mask and made Kakashi eat them. Kakashi felt the first celestial gate open as chakra circulated through his system at a fast rate. He gripped Naruto's head as tight as possible to make sure that he didn't do any greater damage while moving, as he held him securely to his body. He ran past Pakon and his clone as well. Stay with me, Naruto, he said. I don't want to look up on another name. Kakashi flared his chakra as he approached the gates. Get Hokage-sama to the hospital, he shouted to Kitetsu, who was on duty, as Kakashi bolted past, rushing straight to the hospital. As fast as his body would take him, he barreled right through the door, using his shoulder. Emergency patient here. 2 punctured lungs, adrenaline circulating through his body, swelling off the brain. One of the medics had to inject his artery with adrenaline. He's got spinal damage. As Naruto was taken away from him and brought into one of the medical wards, Tsunade came from another room as she saw Kakashi. Kakashi, I thought you were going after Naruto and Sasuke, she said. She saw the amount of blood on Kakashi's clothing. Just then Kakashi's clone burst inside with Sasuke. Naruto has been taken into an emergency ward. It's bad, Tsunade-sama. It's bad, he said. Tsunade rushed off without saying anything as she burst right through the doors. Time skip. 2 days later, as Naruto woke up with a groan, as he saw the white walls, a hospital, as he sat up and scooted back on his pillow. Tsunade would be quite angry if he left, so he wasn't going to leave. He did however remove the IV in his arm, as he stretched his muscles, as he made his way towards the bathroom to get some water from the tap. It felt like his entire body has been used as Tsunade punching bag. He could barely remember anything after that final clash with Sasuke, and even after that, he could not remember the outcome of it. Naruto summoned a clone and sent it out, as he let it head to the Hokage's office, as he needed to know who was okay, how bad his injuries were, and if he had gotten Sasuke back successfully. The clone used a slight transformation to look like he was in the orange suit, as he made his way across the rooftops. He leapt onto a ledge. He was about to go through the window when he spotted Tsunade's door was open. On a whim, the clone wasn't sure why. It transformed into a bird that was coming in the land of fire, as it perched on the windowsill. No one will question the bird being here. It was high, for a bird just lying right here after all. These birds were all over the Fire Nation. A man then walked in. He was the unofficial head of the Civilian Council, as Naruto did not quite remember his name, but he owned a lot of shops within Konoha. He was also one of the most outspoken individuals who wanted Naruto head on a pike. Tsunade-sama, a pleasure to see you this morning, the man said, as he walked forward and sat down, as he watched the older blonde. Tsunade really didn't want to deal with these bastards. His word might sound kind and soft, but she knew his real motive. Denbei, what can I do for you? She had busted her ass dealing with the near dying several Jennings, so she didn't want to deal with this jackass less than 3 days later. Denbei pulled out a slip of paper. On that paper you will find all 12 names of the Civilian Council, all of them signed. It is a petition to have one Naruto Uzumaki removed from the Shinobi forces under Konoha articles written by your grandfather and your granduncle, the first and the second Hokage. If we, the Civilian Council, believe a shinobi to be a threat to the safety of not just the shinobis, but also the Civilian Council of Konoha, we are able to draw up a list of complaints, and with the signatures of majority of the Civilian Council, we can have it brought up in the next council meeting if we inform the current Hokage ahead of time. Tsunade took the list of complaints as she read it over. This dropped in a piece. Naruto pranks, no doubt, disrespecting those with higher ranks. Tsunade thought about all the times that Naruto called her Bachan, and it was no secret that he called Sarutobi old man. Plus there was also the times that he pranked Aruka, defacing public and private property. Tsunade had already read all the reports on Naruto pranking. They were quite extensive, but nothing a few hours of manual labor from the boy could not fix. Defacing a village monument. She had read that and she had snorted when she had saw that he is painting over the Hokage's monument. Theft of a village artifact. Tsunade's blood started to boil. The boy was tricked into stealing it and Sarutobi had already cleared it up. Use of excessive force in a retrieval mission for a high priority target. Someone must have leaked the fact that Sasuke got his ribs broken and that Naruto had used the Kyuubi's chakra. A medic of her caliber could fix a few broken ribs no problem, but given the fact that it happened on the mission, well, it could have punctured the heart and endangering the life of clan heir. The man crossed his arms, and of course, if this isn't brought up in the next meeting, said Civilian Council, our party that brought up the complaints, can go straight towards the daimyo regarding our complaints. This last one is bullshit, said Tsunade. Sasuke Uchiha left the village, unauthorized, to go to an enemy of Konoha, claiming he was a clan heir. Isn't possible. True, the man said. That is if he did willingly go to Orochimaru in the first place. The Yamanaka has several mind alteration techniques that not even the Sharingan can stop. Who is to say that Orochimaru doesn't have access to similar techniques? The mission has not been marked as a failure either, so Sasuke Uchiha is still a part of the Uchiha clan because he did not go to Orochimaru, and Naruto Uzumaki almost ended the Uchiha bloodline within Konoha for good. Tsunade mentally cursed. It was bad. Really bad. If these damn bastards took this to the daimyo, they could twist it and turn it how they want to. She knew that they would spin it exactly how they wanted to sound, that Uzumaki Naruto was a delinquent who was starting to get worse and worse. She mentally racked her mind for any possible loophole that she could use. There wasn't any coming into her mind, but she needed time. Time to look at the laws. What do you plan to do once Naruto Uzumaki is removed from the shinobi forces? She asks. He will be tried for his crimes, and accordingly punished. If he's found guilty, he will have his chakra sealed away completely. The Kyuubi will be cut off from him, and he will spend a significant amount of time within Konoha prison. But of course we don't want a delinquent like that to cause problem for the other civilians, so he will likely be placed in solitary confinement for the good of the other prisoners, the man said. A thought popped in her head. Uzumaki Naruto is not fully healed yet. You cannot send him in good conscience to prison with his body not properly healed, something that will take at least 2 weeks. Some of the more rowdy prisoners might see him in a weakened state and try to do him harm. As his doctor, I cannot allow this. Until I clear him from the hospital, he cannot be trialed. And you cannot bring up your list of complaints. As Hokage, I must remind you, do not push me on this because of the Kyuubi seal inside of him. If Naruto Uzumaki dies, there's a strong possibility of the seal being broken and the Kyuubi being released upon Konoha once again. I don't need to remind you of the damages that was done 12 years ago. And there is no child that was born in the last 3 months. The man paused, realized that Tsunade had played the medic and a neutral Hokage well. Even if he took the complaints to the 5 daimyo, Tsunade will need to remind the daimyo of what took place a decade ago. And they did not have a newborn child to seal Fox into. The damage would be, well, very well, Hokage-sama, he said. We will wait to bring these complaints up until Uzumaki is discharged. The bird then flew away. As it poofed away, as Naruto received all the information, no, he said, as tears came in his eyes, as his hand covered his mouth, as he wondered what could he do to sway their minds. You could kill them. Naruto snapped awake. As we return back to the past, as Naruto clutched his face, that damn dream, no memory, always plaguing his mind. He got out of bed and went to the bathroom, doing his business. As he washed up for the day, he glanced at the mirror. Kurama's face was not looking at him. Kami, I just want it all to end. As he rested head against the mirror, he wanted to be normal even after all this time, but normal was taken away from him. Right after his birth, he went to his room and grabbed his current weapon of choice. As he sat at his father's desk, as he set the edge of the Kisurigama on the table, as he started to edge a seal into the blade, working carefully and blowing away the metal shavings. It was hard to do, but eventually he drew the symbols into the metal. He picked it up and channeled chakra into the blade. As a blade of wind turned his weapon, he gave a smirk as he knew that his weapon just got a lot more lethal. He cut his chakra off. The chain on the Kisurigama was about 6 feet long, but he had an idea. He used a magnifying glass as he started to carve seals into the chain links. When he was done, he channeled chakra into the chain, and it extended, making the 6 feet go to about 8 feet. He retracted it, as the chain snapped back in place, undamaged because of the seals. He had one more seal to put in, as he went towards the bottom of the weighted chain. As he started to edge into another seal, it would make his weapon as deadly as Kakashi, Lightning Blade, if not even more so. None of his enemies would be expecting it when he brought his weapon into the game. Naruto smirked as he saw the final seal in place. The next day, Hinata entered the restaurant, where her former teammates meet up. She saw Shino and Kiba as she moved over. As she sat down, Kiba-kan, Shino-kan, she said. Hinata said Shino. Kiba was telling me how Naruto has donated a substantial amount of funds to Akamaru fundraiser. Hinata looked surprised. How substantial are we talking about? She asked. Twice the amount I needed, said Kiba. Hinata's eyes widened. I don't get it, Hinata. Here we have a guy that is one of the most violent criminals of Konoha. Konoha owes him everything, and yet the people spat on his father and his dying wish. Yet he creates seals to improve the security of Konoha. Creates seals to place on the vests that our Chonins and Jonins wear. He creates seals to help improve about everything. He spent vast amount of money on the bonds for the village. And just a few days ago, he gave me the money to start a program to help vets get trained in the village. Can someone explain this to me? Hinata ordered some tea. As she got it and sipped some tea first. Naruto-kan is insane, Kiba-kan, she said. Her 2 teammates looked shocked. Shino even removed the sunglasses. The look in her eyes. No one knew what happened leading up to the day of the event. No one, Kiba-kan, except for Naruto-kan. Tsunade-sama said that she thought for a time that Kurama was influencing him. Then he entered prison, and he has to watch his back 24/7. The stone shinobi that he killed was the first, and got him 2 weeks into solitary confinement. Solitary is no light, no fresh air, no contact with anyone, just a small pike in the door to push the food in. Rats, bugs, crawling all over the cell. Now, every time someone kills another inmate, that person is put into solitary confinement for 2 weeks. Naruto count is over 24 kills in his time in prison. He spent close to a year in solitary by force. Then, during his day when he has chakra, he starts to go in there voluntarily, each time alone, with the exception of Kurama. Kurama is known to be a force of chakra and intent. Each time for 2 weeks, Naruto only has Kurama to talk to, or members to escape to, and Naruto members are not good place to be. Even Inuichi-sama hates diving into his memories, said Hinata. She took a deep breath as she drank some tea once more. Before Kiba could open his mouth to speak, she beat into it. Then there's all the seals on his body. Over half of them are etched into his skin, not drawn, but actually cut. He wants nothing to do with other prisoners, and he would not use shadow clones because they would draw attention to the fact that he has his chakra. This means he'd draw them into his own body. Can you imagine the pain he must have felt? The two boys were quiet, trying to understand the amount of pain that Naruto has been through, as he did that to himself. At the same time that she was speaking, Naruto was passing over the building. As he heard her first few words, he smirked, so they knew that he was insane. His psych profile had obviously told her that. Still, they did not know the extent of how insane he was. Naruto sneered as he looked down towards the civilians down below. How he hated them. Kill them then. Take my terrifying form and blast them all to hell. As Naruto ignored Kurama, as Kakashi had sent word that he was ready, and who was he to keep his sensei waiting, as he quickly made his way. As Naruto paused, there was a poof behind him. A small toad appeared. Black and orange. Gamataru, what's up, little buddy? We found him, brother. He's heading towards a hidden rain. He's going slowly, but he's making progress. Ma and Pa are having those trained best in the sage art to follow him. The natural engine make it so we're not detected, said Gamataru. Naruto nodded and he summoned a clone. It gave a nod and made his way off to gather supplies. It was time for their first hunt, but first, he had a spar with Kakashi and Itachi. He unsealed a bag of chips that he handed to Gamataru. As he made his way towards Training Ground 7, Naruto dropped from the trees as he landed in a crouch. As he noticed Kakashi, Itachi, and surprisingly Kisame all there. Sushi, said Naruto. As the bigger man twitched in irritation, Kakashi held his hand up. Relax, Kisame, he said. Naruto, are you ready for this? He asked. As Naruto pulled out his Hizaragama, as he twirled around. Yeah, I'm ready, Sensei, he said. As he started to spin it, the cycle spinning around and creating a disc of wind chakra. He swung the chain forward as it whipped towards the three of them who jumped away. Kakashi came from behind Naruto's Sharingan reveal as he took on Naruto Taijutsu. As Naruto twisted his Kizaragama in a way, Kakashi had to pull back or raise his hand and foot, getting captured. Kisame came in with Samihata as Naruto twisted and flicked his blade, as the chain wrapped around Samihata tight, as Naruto then yanked, forcing Kisame to pull back on Samihata. Naruto channeled chakra into the weight on the bottom of the chain as he threw it towards Kisame. The lightning seal activated as Kisame was forced to jump back and relinquish Samihata. As Naruto leapt away, unraveling the semi-sentient blade, as Itachi was working with a short sword. As Naruto watched Itachi's feet and chest, as he swung the blade right towards the short sword. He teared through it rather easily, but Itachi jumped back before Naruto could continue. Itachi flashed through hand sign. Without a single word, he blew out a fireball that was the same size as Naruto as it came down. As Naruto turned and threw the Kizaragama, piercing right through the water dragon that Kakashi was trying to create. The lightning enhanced weight ripped through the water dragon like it was nothing, forcing Kakashi to jump away. With his free hand, Naruto raised his hand, the fireball slammed into his palm, only for it to be absorbed into it. As Naruto turned and thrust his hand out, the fireball came back out straight towards Itachi. As Naruto twisted Kizaragama, the thing extended because of the seals, forcing Kisame and Kakashi to jump away. He retracted the weight back to his hand as he stood there, as he threw it towards Kakashi, as a vortex appeared right in front of the weight, trying to suck it in. As Naruto yanked it back, he then threw an explosive tag, but instead of an explosion it spread, a mist all over the area. Kakashi let out a cry of pain. When the mist cleared away, Kakashi was on the ground, his back cut open by a thin blade. "I win," said Naruto as he looked down towards him. "That's a sweet spot. Fourth lumbar down, just to the left of the spine, abdominal, aorta. I nicked it when I could have cut right through it. You better get Kakashi-sensei to the hospital," said Naruto, as he retracted his blade, as he attached it to his back with chakra. As he started to walk off, "I'm heading out, Kakashi-sensei," he said. "I'm heading after Zetsu, my spies. I've already spotted him, so I'm getting moving." As Kakashi was being held up by Kisame and Itachi. "Good luck, Naruto," he said. "And good job." With that, Naruto made his way, as he left right through the gates of Konoha. "Good choice. Aim for the eyes before you take out the snake. Blind it, and then blindside it," said Kurama. Naruto smirked a bit. How he was going to enjoy this mission. Enjoyed so much more than he probably should. He had to stop for the night. As he spoke to Kurama. As he moved the next morning, he was visited by Gamataro once more. The trap was all set, and with that Naruto increased his speed, as Kumo had attacked, giving Zetsu some bodies to feast on. The man was a cannibal, and depending on how he savors his meal, it will take him a while. As Naruto arrived at the battlefield to see Zetsu, as he was feasting on the dead Kumo shinobis, the man was even sophisticated about it, using a steak knife and fork, and drinking the blood from a wine glass. As Naruto leapt into the clearing and landed, around them, about 300 yards diameter, was a golden barrier that was created by a dozen clones. "Hello, Zetsu. I'm afraid dinner is cancelled tonight." As Zetsu picked himself up and wiped his mouth. "I suppose it is, you brat." As he noticed several armored toads. Using the toads. Most impressive. "Tuh, toads taste bad," the other part said. "Well, their interference would prove no doubt troublesome. So, to be only fair, we have to eat them as well." Talking about eating his partners right in front of him pissed Naruto off quite a lot. As Naruto grabbed the Kizurigama and started to spin it around. "Before we begin, tell us something. Where the hell have you been hiding?" said Zetsu as he started to walk around Naruto. "I have been in prison," said Naruto. "Amazing what some time behind bars can do." As Naruto started to circle him, increasing his speed. "Huh, you were a prison bitch. Did you drop any soap?" said Black Zetsu. As Naruto ignored the comment, he had his own personal shower, so he never had to worry about that. As he thrust out the blade, it stabbed into Zetsu before he could dodge. Zetsu split immediately, white and black forming a sight to keep them up balance. As now the two of them start to circle Naruto. As Naruto swing the blade and release a curved blade of wind. The two half of Zetsu's dodge as they move in to attack him as Naruto dodged, weaving around their attacks and strikes. They were dangerous, and Naruto was also aware of the spores in the air, sapping away his chakra. As he launched 3 ceiling tags that exploded, hundreds of sand bombs were launched all over. They both dodged or even brought their arms up to block the projectiles. The white Zetsu sank into the ground, while the black one charged in afterwards. As Naruto leapt in the air and threw 2 more tags, one exploded a violent water wave, forcing the black half to jump away. The other one released a bolt of lightning like it was from a storm cloud. It decimated the ground. White Zetsu was forced to emerge. As Naruto looked towards them, they were shockingly weak. He hoped the other two would be stronger than this. As his smirk seemed to increase as he started to spin the Kizurigama around more, faster and faster and faster and faster. As he threw it, it bounced off the barrier and stabbed into the ground, and came back out as it bounced off the barrier, as Naruto was creating a maze of chain all over the place. As he channeled his chakra through it, over 24 lines of chains were formed, as Naruto ran on top of them, as he raised up to the top of the barrier, before he threw a tag out. Lightning enhanced kunai shot out, tearing into the earth deeply. The seals and the handles exploded with a titanic force. Both Zetsus had to go on the chains for safety, as both of them looked up towards the blonde from their spot on the chain. Despite what was going on, the blonde was using more ninja arts than anything. He was not using any flashy jutsu, and he has not called out a single name of his technique. Nothing like that. It was like he was rewriting the arts of being a shinobi. Even Madara called out his techniques, but not the blonde in front of them. He seemed to be barely trying as well. Zetsu need to get the hell out of here. He need to report to Obito or Madara. As Naruto threw out 2 more tags, they exploded into a thick mess. The 2 Zetsus went back to back. Zetsu heard a bell ring as his heartbeat accelerated. He didn't need to panic, the mist was thick with Naruto's chakra, making it hard to sense where Naruto's chakra was coming from. Ring ring, once again the bell went off. Ring, slick! As the black half watched, as his head fell, the Butcher of Konoha came for him, and there was no stopping him. His head was sealed away before it could even touch the floor. White Zetsu started panicking like crazy. Black Zetsu was killed, he could feel it inside of him. Was the ringing of the bell a genjutsu? Was it meant to throw him off his game? Ring ring. He lashed out with a punch, punching the chain where he thought it came from, but there was nothing there. As he looked around, where the hell was he? Ring, slick. His head was gone in an instant. As Uzumaki and Naruto looked down at him, coated in the bloods of both Zetsu half, his face was a mass of crimson. The mist was released as his chain snapped back to the Kizurigama. As Naruto attached it to his sickle and placed it behind him with chakra. As he sealed the head up with Black Zetsu, the barrier came down. Naruto gave a salute to the toads as they went home. He then stacked the bodies up as he placed a tag right on the body top. He then dropped the bells that he tied on his waist on the pile as well. As he turned and walked away, it exploded into flames. As he went back to Konoha to let Sakura inspect the brain of his Zetsu to make sure it was a leader of the Zetsu army. Afterwards, he collected his payment. He then made his way to Tenten's shop. She was dealing with a few customers, so he decided to browse around. Finally, when it was his turn, he went over to her. Tenten, I need some help building some armor. Nothing too fancy, nothing too big. They then went about getting his measurement for his hands, his elbows, straight up to his shins, as he got it made from the conducive chakra metal. Afterwards, he got home and washed up, getting a change of clothing. As he headed to a park and sat down, leaning on the bench, he watched the kids play, watching them have their innocence. Memories of blood and pain flashed in front of his eyes as he placed a hand over his face before wiping it down. A ball bumped his foot. As he glanced down at it, a small child came over. "Oh hey, Fox-san," she said. Naruto blinked. Fox-san? He guessed that it was because of his whisker marks. Why not a cat? The small child shrugged. Father said that a man in orange is more like a fox. Mom said I shouldn't come near you, but Dad said it's okay, as long as I don't pester you, she said. And what's your name, little one? Mikoto Uchiha, she said. Dad said I was named after my grandmother. My other grandmother said that you're nice too. So, Itachi had a kid. That was understandable. But who was the mother? And who was the grandmother? As he looked at the girl, she was definitely a younger Mikoto. He remembered from a picture that he saw when he had went to pick up Sasuke for team meeting. Who was your grandmother, Mikoto-chan, he said. Isn't it polite to give her name after getting one, she said. Naruto mentally groaned. So long as you keep it a secret from your mother. And possibly your grandmother as well. Okay, promise, she said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. So who was your grandmother, Mikoto-chan, he said. Whoa, you were on Sasuke's team, she said. As Naruto blinked, the child was not focused. Did she had ADD? Mikoto-chan, it is considered rude not to answer a question. So who's your grandmother? Oh, grandmother is Hinata-chan. As Naruto looked towards her, she was calling Hinata grandmother. Did she seem that old to her, Naruto wondered, with a small chuckle. Excuse me, Naruto-san, as she threw the ball that she had, as it hit a boy in the back of the head. Shisui, come over here, she said, and bring my ball as well. As Naruto chuckled, unable to help it. Mikoto, what did I do this time? Shisui said, as he had the ball in his hand as he came over. Meet Sasuke's old teammate. You know, the bad JJ that we have. As Naruto blinked, now she was calling him old. He wasn't that old. Huh? Said Shisui confused. But we already met grandmother Sakura, Mikoto-san. As he wasn't really paying attention. And why did you hit me with the ball? I'm not talking about grandmother Sakura. I'm talking about Naruto-san. Shisui raised the eyebrow as he turned towards Naruto. His Sharingan, one totem flared to life. You're Naruto, he says. He stepped in front of Mikoto. As Naruto looked towards the boy. Mom said you're a bad man. And that we were not to talk to you. Shisui, he's not a bad guy, remember? Dad and Grandma Hinata said so, said Mikoto. Learn a person before judging them, said Mikoto. But Mom said we're not to talk to him because he's dangerous, said Shisui, as he stood in front of her in a protective manner. As Naruto chuckled a bit, he liked Mikoto already. Shisui need to get that stick out of his ass. But Both set of words are wise, he said. I'm a dangerous man, I'm a bad man. As he leaned a bit closer, but only to those who deserve it. Do you, or Mikoto-chan deserve it, Shisui-san, he said. As Shisui shook his head, as Naruto looked him right in the eyes, he did not know any genjutsu yet, so he could not use any on Naruto. Good, said Naruto. How old are you too? 9, the both of them said. Twins, great. Mikoto-chan, do you have the Sharingan as well? Mikoto activated her Sharingan. There was 1 totem in her left eye, and 2 in her right eye. As Shisui looked away, clearly upset. Hey, what's wrong, Shisui? Are you jealous of your sister? Naruto asked. No, he said, as he turned his head. Don't worry, Shisui-chan. I'm sure that you will catch up soon enough, said Naruto. As he placed a hand on the boy's shoulder, all you need is determination and a work etiquette. Don't be afraid to ask your father and your sister as well. Shisui nodded his head as he thought about Naruto's words a bit. As Naruto glanced towards Mikoto, and don't tease your brother like that. For not having a second Tomo yet, I am sure that the both of you will have a mature Sharingan in no time, he said. Will we be able to beat Grandmother Hinata in a spar then? Asked Mikoto. Of course, said Shisui. We have the Sharingan. She cannot match that. As Naruto frowned a bit, he was going to let that fly. Hey, listen to me. Both of them turned towards him, their Sharingan activated, so this would burn into their mind. Your eyes mean nothing in a true shinobi fight, said Naruto. Does your father constantly have his Sharingan eyes activated? No, he does not. He does not use his eyes to copy the techniques of his comrades without their permission. Train your body, speed, stealth, reflexes. Then train your mind, jutsus, tactics, facts, things like that. I have heard of both the people that you inherit your names from, said Naruto, as he leaned back. The both of them were glued on him, watching his every move. Mikoto, the kami of substitution. From my understanding, she was wickedly difficult to track on the battlefield, always danced around her opponents, and they could never hit her. And Shisui, of the body flicker technique, he was just as difficult to track, but he used a more advanced technique, leaving less behind to give his opponent any to track on him. Both were Uchiha and both rarely use their eyes. And lastly, stick with one another. As he kneeled down in front of them and placed hands on their shoulders. You two are siblings. Don't fight, don't argue. Work through your problems. You two are on a team, and your family. One day, I want to fight the both of you at the same time, and I want to see the two of you move like a well-oiled machine. As the both of them nodded, one last advice. Around kids your age, just act like a normal 9-year-old, said Naruto. Don't let your names get in your way. Just play and have fun. As he sat down, he made a showing motion with his hand as he watched them walk off. Kids were so honest, and their honesty makes something inside of him relax. What he would give for a child of his own to dote upon. He shook his head. That wasn't happening. He was gonna finish a mission and then go back to his cell. At least there he knew how the world worked. Outside he was lost. Hinata-chan, he said. Deep in the cell, Kurama frowned at his container actions. It wasn't good. Naruto needed to hold on to his anger, his hate. She betrayed you, Naruto. Never forget that. Once a betrayer, always a betrayer. She does not deserve mercy, nor does she deserve you. This entire village does not deserve you. Even those children from the Uchiha will betray you one day. Kurama did not want Naruto to lose sight of their goals. As he thought about their options, having Naruto kill those two wouldn't be possible. They were being watched like hawks, given their status of who they were. He will buy his time though. Time was all he had anymore. As Naruto was sitting there, as he watched over the two Uchiha twins, as he could hear Kurama's dark mumblings and whispers, as he saw their blood splattered all over his body, as he saw their dead eyes looking up at him, no longer full of life but nothing but fear, contempt and hate. He even smelled the scent of blood, as he felt their stickiness covering his hand. He took so long to dispel the images, that when he focused it was night time. The children were already gone. With the coolness of a night, he leaned back against the bench, as he started to watch those in Konoha. As he saw couples of the village walking around the park a bit, Naruto growled. They were in the middle of a war. People were dying out there as they fought against the Zetsu army. Without a brain, they were probably weaker. But here these people were worried about romance with a late night stroll through the park. He could slaughter them. His crimes would be absolved when he was done with the 3 Uchihas. But he remembered a time when he did the same. When he did something even worse. As the memories flashed in front of his eyes. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want to see next part, then do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Became the King of the Necromancers over on Anime King 2, well, this channel. Over on Anime King 3, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto had the deadliest bloodline, so go ahead and enjoy that, guys. And also, over on Anime King, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto was a prodigy with an unknown bloodline, so go ahead and enjoy it as well, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. Thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace.